How's everyone?
Okay.
Really good, thank you. Yep.
Excellent.
I've,
Has your milk gone off?
Well, it tastes a bit strange. Maybe it
Really?
has. I don't normally have a big one. And I've got-
I don't need to know that. That's outrageous.
Yes,
It's the
very,
afternoon,
very
Sherry.
big. And I
Different
don't
to what I've
agree with
heard, darling.
Big ones can't do it the same as the little ones can do.
No, they really can't. Can I say something really, really fast?
Yes.
You don't want to hear about your big ones, darling. I'm sorry. I'm going to call
Well,
matron.
I know. I'm going to throw it away and get a new one. But what I
We'd all
want to
like to
tell
do
you
that.
is quickly
Yeah.
that Teddy had a visit yesterday.
Oh,
He had a visitor called Helen from We Love Pets. Now, Helen came to meet Teddy and interviewed him.
Why?
And, well, because I've decided that Teddy cannot be on his own any longer. Now, I cannot have another dog.
No.
This is Molly's dog anyway. It's not my dog. And so I can't do that any longer. So she is going to introduce him to other doggies and take him on walks. And he can stay over if he wishes, if he takes his bag with him. And he can meet other doggies and have a relationship, not that kind.
okay.
We don't want any little chihuahuas. And all sorts of kind of relationships they can have together, you know. I talked to Teddy last night, and we've decided it's a good idea because he's 2 and I don't want him to become unsociable.
No,
You know,
absolutely.
he needs to be
I
with
agree.
other dogs and like other dogs. At the moment, we're getting a bit of... So I've decided to make him sociable, and that means Helen will come round, pick him up. Next Wednesday, he's going for a walk with 2 other dogs.
So he doesn't have to socially distance like we do.
Yes.
Eventually, we'll have to do
True.
the same thing. Helen will come and pick us up and take us out to meet people in real life again.
That's right.
Can I show you something? Can I show you something really fast? My lovely
Yeah.
friend Pete Gargett Illustrations just sent me this, which is a caricature of me, which is a pencil drawing. He's got the high heels, he's got the big hair, but he's given me a body I never had. I cannot thank him enough. And he does these, he literally sent it as a surprise. He does these bespoke pencil drawings. They're amazing. But he's given me something I never had. So,
well, can I just say something then?
Yes.
When somebody's watching this, can they please do drawings of us with fabulous bodies and send them in? And we'll judge them.
Yes.
Obviously, mine doesn't need to be altered.
Well,
Of course not,
no,
darling.
This is
that's the frustrating truth. And I'm very bitter about it. But I'll let it go.
I would
I
actually
haven't
like
seen
longer
mine
legs.
for 20 years, and I don't intend looking.
Longer legs,
Mine has got lockdown cellulite. It's absolutely horrible. I was looking at it the other day thinking, what has happened? Because we don't move anymore, do we? We are even going...
No!
That's the
Yes,
problem.
that's it.
Yesterday, I sat in front of the television set for 12 hours because there's nothing else to do. I mean, what's going on?
Let's have a bit of glam, shall we, darlings? A bit of glamour. Okay,
It's needed.
of course, it is our wonderful celebrity hairdresser, Andrew Barton, who's going to tell us all of the wonderful things we can do in lockdown with our hair.
He is.
Hello, darling.
Hi! Looking
Happy
very
New
pink,
Year.
darling.
Andrew, we got the memo. We got the
Yeah.
memo.
Listen, I did get the memo. Do you know what I
He
mean?
didn't.
I've even
We
got
didn't get the
Those
memo.
other girls didn't,
Like,
but
you
never
said it
mind.
well.
Yes, there we are. Look, hairy chest.
You know what I thought? I was getting ready for the show, and I just thought, I'm so over all this winter greyness and rain
Grays.
days.
Yeah.
So I decided to inject a little bit of my summer holiday wardrobe into today's show.
We're all falling apart hair-wise. What are we going to do?
Well, I think what we're going to do and have to be is quite patient. It looks like it's going to be quite a long journey.
Yeah. March.
So who knows? What am I going to do to pay the mortgage without my salon open?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all thinking that, darling.
We've actually just heard from our super fan, Alex Shewan, who says, the first question is, what can she do? Her hair's grown, she's got no volume. What can she do to improve that? I know that nioxin's brilliant, but any other tips, darling?
Well, nioxin is brilliant, but maybe in these trying times, we just stay in bed and have bedhead.
Okay.
Welcome to my bedroom. I knew you Wonderbirds would get into my bedroom.
Fabulous. Here we are. Andrew, my thing is, and you know me with my hair, I'm dreadful with it because I mess with it all the time. So my major thing is what not to do. You know, you can tell us all the things to do, but what absolutely not to do when you mess with your hair in lockdown.
Okay, I think what not to do is not to do anything with it, because if you don't bother to style your hair and put some effort into it, you're gonna feel kind of down anyway. And we all know that as soon as we glam up a little bit, we feel better, we feel more confident, we feel more positive. So I would say to you, Sherry, and to the viewers at home, that this is the time to really enjoy spending time on some home pampering. And you know, that includes things like deep conditioning treatment masks. All the viewers have got them at home and hardly ever use them. So, you know, take this time to do a face mask, hair mask, to boost the condition of the hair. And take those extra 5 minutes to enjoy styling your hair. You're not in a rush, you're not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
It's that feeling of glamorizing that is going to help us to stay positive. So, you know, for me now, stuck at home for a few months and not in my salon business, I'm making sure that every single day I get dressed, I get prepared for the day. I'm not just hanging out in my jogger bottoms and trainers. You know, I keep that for doing my exercise. So what we must do is just stay as glamorous as we can.
When your hair gets to a certain length, like mine does, and it's starting to do that, what can we, and the colour and the roots, the wonderful white roots which are showing, what do we do about that?
Well, I think when it comes to hair colour and roots, I hope you and the viewers will respect my kind of professionalism, and I have a professional industry to protect. So I'm not going to advocate kind of using home colorants to color hair. But there are lots of different ways that you can disguise those roots.
That's what we need to know.
Yes.
You know, there's various root retouch kind of pencils and mascaras and brushes. L'Oreal in particular have got very extensive brands. So they've got lots of different choices for you, and they've got colors from blonde for you, Debbie, right through to Harriet's gorgeous mahogany chestnut brown as well. So, you know, there's lots of different choices out there in terms of disguise. And I think that's the answer with hair color and roots coming through. It's about doing your best to disguise them. And some of that disguise can come from styling, just simply moving your parting, or, you know, disguising the face, not pulling the hair back away from the face. So there's lots of little tricks and tips that you can do without having to get your hands dirty with home hair colouring.
My mother always said to me, don't ever use home colour, ever. And I've always said that to my daughters, and we've all respected that forever. And I think it's really important to know, because with home colouring, you never know what's in it, how it can, and also when you've had regular colour for so many years, that your colourist will then, it'll take her months to get it back to what it used to be.
Well,
I just want to say, Andrew, if you said I'm mahogany chestnut brown, I could go off and get a little bark from both of those trees and just put them on my roots. Would that be good? Then I'm disguising as well.
Listen, Harriet, you've got my personal number, so you give that a try and let me know before you let the viewers.
Andrew, I tell you, you know my mate Amanda Barry?
Yeah.
Amanda said to me the other day on the phone, she went, oh, darling, she said, this hair is terrible. She said, but you know what I'm going to do? Because she said, I've never let my roots grow out, you know, never, ever. She said, I'm going to let my hair grow out and see what grey I really am.
I'm always very careful what I say about people that decide they want to grow old gracefully by going grey. Very few people actually go that beautiful pearlized white. They end up being badger looking. And you know, that's it's a kind of something we want to avoid. You know, grey hair often, not always, is one of the biggest aging things that you can do, because psychologically we associate grey hair with age.
Yeah.
And for me, it's that thing is, you know, if you went absolutely beautiful pearlized white silver fox, then it does look very attractive. But as I just said, most people end up with a badger effect.
Technically, we're all doing that. If you use the sprays and these hair mascaras, then your hair will actually grow out and you will see it without noticing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's that thing around, you know, styling, a simple disguise as well. Just by simply just back brushing the roots of the hair.
Yes.
The left.
Yes.
It diffuses the roots of the hair.
Yes.
It's a bit more volume. And therefore, that even disguises grey roots as well. But, you know, going back to kind of, you know, viewers, I'm sure they're interested in what is the difference between a box of L'Oreal colour in the supermarket or chemist and the colour is used at a salon.
Yes.
The big difference is obviously the expertise of the hands that are mixing those colours. In that box of colour that you buy from the supermarket or chemist, you usually mix two things together and you get a colour. What we do in the salon is we put an inch of this, a quarter of an inch of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, to make your complete bespoke colour.
Yeah.
And what also happens as well in the salon, a hairdresser will never, ever mix the same formula twice. They're always changing it and adjusting it for your colour that's in front of them at that time. Because you keep doing the same brunette colour or the same blonde colour time and time and time again, you can only get lighter and lighter and lighter or darker and darker and darker. So the professional is all about the adjustment of how we keep adapting your hair colour.
A lot of people are allergic to these colours and they don't do a strand test before they try it. And then you can end up with all sorts of problems, can't you?
Scalp.
And, you know, there's scalp issues that can be affected by home hair colorants. And a lot of it, again, is that application. So, you know, you end up with kind of bands running through your hair that are very difficult to get rid of then. So, you know, if I was absolutely pushed to give any advice about using a home hair colorant, if I was absolutely pushed, I'd say only really color the tiniest little bits that really bother you can see for some form of disguise. But my best piece of advice is just disguise it in other ways. And similar as well when it comes to cutting and trimming and things like that, you know, it takes a hairdresser 2 or 3 years to qualify to be a hair cutter. And then people start cutting their hair at home. If you are going to use scissors to maybe kind of tiny little bit of your fringe, use the scissors.
Yes,
that's right. And not use the garden secateurs like I was. That one.
For the bush.
Well, darling, you're amazing. We love all of you. You'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk to us, won't you? Again, and I'm so sorry your salons are closed, but thank you for all your advice as always. You're amazing.
Thank you, darling. You
amazing.
are amazing.
You know, if viewers want to send any questions in, I'm always happy to answer them.
Thank you, darling, so much.
Love you. Love you, darling.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Right then, well, we do have another guest. We have another lovely guest who's a great friend of mine who I've known for many moons, and actually I'm trying to adopt him at the moment. It's the gorgeous, fantastic Ollie Locke from Made in Chelsea.
Hello.
Hello, I've told everyone that I'm trying to adopt you at the moment. Is that okay?
More than okay. I'd be delighted.
Oh.
How
lovely.
Welcome, darling.
How's it going? How do you feel in this lockdown?
Well, is anyone else trying to be slightly healthy but also drinking too much?
Oh yes.
So I've got
definitely the latter.
Disgusting drink I've got here, which is kind of the breakfast thing. By 7 p.m, I'll definitely be having a drink.
What on earth is that, darling?
Yeah, what is it?
Is that healthy?
Some sort of banana, oaty, spirulina-y something. Not very nice.
Smoothie.
Okay.
But you told me the other day when we were on our socially distanced walk about this vitamin C thing that I should have for a hangover.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a vitamin C thing, which is 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. It's called NSC, and it's absolutely amazing. You get it from the Whole Foods, and basically it just makes you feel great.
Can you tell us more about that, Ollie?
It's kind of a sachet, but you kind of put it in. It kind of helps life an awful lot. It's got everything you ever need in there. Made in Chelsea used to give it to us when we were on set. To be like,
Wow.
get it. Almost like
That
weird.
sounds like old Hollywood, darling.
Yeah, well,
Yes, except it wasn't vitamin C, darling, that they used to give.
No.
No, I know. That's what I'm
It
saying.
had a C in it, though.
So darling, please, I mean, I have somebody here to say hello to you.
Hi, Beanie. Where's Beanie?
I'm here. Ollie, darling, where is my man? Where is Bear?
Bear, come here, please. Bear, come here, please. Bear, come here, please. He's looking at me as if I'm completely ridiculous. Bear with.
Right, here he is. Hello, Bear.
So,
Oh.
Hi, Bear.
I've had to lure him down with treaties from downstairs because he's very lazy today.
Ah.
There's some tail for you. Look, Bear.
Yes, Beanie, yes, I want a relationship with you as soon as possible, Bear.
They're a very attractive couple, actually.
Yes.
But, darling, talking about attractive couples, you and gorgeous Gareth, who I absolutely adore, are going to have a baby, aren't you?
Well, yeah, that will be the situation next year, I think. It's all all unfolding at the moment. It's all very exciting. We were on hours of phone calls last night to America and all that kind of stuff. Surrogacy is a really difficult thing in Britain. It's super difficult, and it's actually very backward. And I had no idea about it until we started this process. And in America, it's really easy, but in Britain, you're not even allowed to see the faces of the egg donor. You're not allowed to see a picture of it.
What? Oh.
Extraordinary.
But in America, you are. So it's a lot more expensive to do in America. But basically, you get their brunette, they've got blue eyes, and that's it, basically. So it's a really difficult process. But in America, you get to see their entire profiles. You get to see if their mother has diabetes, kind of thing. Like, you get to see everything.
Yeah.
But in England, it's very, very backward. I don't think British law wants you to do surrogacy, really. It's really interesting. And it's something I'm campaigning for.
So are you going to go the American way? Are you going to find someone in America?
Yeah, we found the eggs in America.
Wow.
We've got a British surrogate, and we're going to have to go over there as soon as COVID's over. We'll go out there and
Yes.
Wow.
How exciting.
Fantastic.
So you'll be a daddy and a daddy.
we'll be daddy and daddy by hopefully March next year.
Wow.
Can I want to ask you about the extraordinary, beautiful, amazing wedding that you had, because I know it had to be delayed, didn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what, we've been really, really lucky, and it's, as ever the wallflower I am, we decided to do it in a slightly different way. Again, we were slightly hungover on a Monday, and we knew that on the Sunday night, Boris had told us all that we were going to be locking down, and the wedding was going to be 2 weeks after, and we said, all right, do we have 48 hours to do it? And so we did it in 48 hours, planned entire thing in the Natural History Museum under the whale. And
extraordinary.
We were only allowed 13 people there, 15 including us. And so we decided to call up Chelsea and we said, do you reckon you could pull it off? And they went, let's do it. And so we managed to create an entire, so that although there was 13, there was probably 40 crew as well. Two different crews that managed to capture the whole thing. And in the first week of it being out on Made in Chelsea, which aired on the 14th of December, 2 million people have watched it.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
So
and I just think it's so important.
2020.
It's so important and so wonderful that you can get married and think about having a family. You know, this is so different to when we were all children, when it wasn't legal. It wasn't legal to be gay, let alone marry. And I think it's just to think, I'm going to get married. Yes, can we do it in a few days? That is the norm, and that is what is so wonderful. That is our world now today. We can do that.
Yes.
I think we also, I don't think we take that for granted. We do sit there and look at it and think that we're in such, we complain about the fact that, oh, the America thing's really annoying and stuff like that. The fact that we can have children, we are a new generation, and we are incredibly lucky for the people that have fought for our rights for the last however many years.
Yeah.
In our however many 1,000-year history of humanity, we're living in exactly the right time. Me at 33, about to have children, is exactly the time that is right for us.
Ollie, I have to say that that's fantastic, and we know you're from Made in Chelsea, obviously, but you've written some fabulous books. My daughter's friend, who's got a little boy, has actually read your children's book.
Really?
Yes, and thinks it's absolutely fantastic, beautiful fantasy, and the visualization in it is just so wonderful. Have you got plans to write any more?
I've held off on the Islands of Fanday too. It's going to be a trilogy, but I've held off because actually there's been quite strong interest from America. So we're discussing stuff with America, and then we're bringing it out there, the first book again in America. And then
do you think that will be made into a movie? Do you think it'll be an all telly series or?
Very much have discussions, but there are two companies that want to co-pro it, and we are.
Wow.
Fabulous.
We are. They want to see how the second book does first.
Yes.
Of course.
Wow.
But that's really exciting, and I'm really pleased with it. But it's a wonderful. The Islands of Fanday is about a little girl that sails past the horizon into a different world, and it's all about fantasy and all about it's all magic. And that every now and then you need escapism. And you also, I wrote it so that it was a way that people can sit there with bedtime stories. And bedtime stories are a thing that I remember when we used to have bedtime stories, but now it's all kind of playing on the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so important that you get that's that time with your child that you can sit there at night time and go on an adventure with them. And I think that's incredible.
Yeah. I know.
And people need to bring books back, don't they, Ollie? Books kind of disappeared. And now I think it's a whole turnaround that people are wanting books again now.
You're absolutely right. And last year was the first year in something like 10 years that books outsold ebooks.
Oh, wow.
Really?
That's
wow.
That's
also, it's the smell of a book. It's the feeling of it.
Yeah, I think that.
Yes,
yeah.
I agree.
It's the folded back pages. It's all about nostalgia and something.
It is.
About it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. It's so important to actually encourage our kids, our grandkids now, actually.
Sherry and I moved last year, and both of us have got, haven't we, Sherry, boxes and boxes and boxes of books that we've had for
hundreds
years.
and hundreds of books.
Me too. Yeah.
I collected Harry Potter. Not that J.K. Rowling's my favourite person in the world right now. However, I've managed to create. I've got four of the 6, I think it is, or 7 of first edition Harry Potters.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
So, Ollie, I want to ask you for what's happening with the next Chelsea. I mean, Darren Little is one of my favourite people in the world. And when I was on the street, he was the archivist and then became a writer of EastEnders and everything. So I know you know him well. And I remember him talking about Chelsea. But so when is the next Chelsea?
So, not to be confused with Darren Litton, who is another friend of yours, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, you're saying that.
Yes.
And Darren Litton is also a friend of mine as well. So
is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
And I've said, I think if Ben Dorm ever comes back, I said I definitely need a role in that. I think it's absolutely
definitely. I will tell Darren today.
Please
yes.
So yeah, Chelsea's. We start filming again on Monday, and it's actually because we are going into a house, which is quite interesting, which we did last series as well, because basically we've got a test. I've got a test this afternoon, and then we've got a test on Sunday. So we've got to self-isolate for the next couple of days, and then we go into a house all together. That's the only way where the 22-year-olds can snog each other and cause controversy. So they can all have fun and do there and say, why not? And so that you have to be social distance. So they go into a house and we stay there for probably about a month. But it's shot in a really beautiful way. We did it in Cornwall last year and it worked really well. And also you get to know the cast, some of the ones that you don't know very well. You get to know them a lot better.
Do you have a script? Or, I mean, I'm sure there is a script, but what I'm saying is, are you allowed to improvise? Are you allowed to create your own moments? Or are you very much scripted?
There's no script at all that we hold. It's nothing.
You're given.
It's all basically, it's all our own lives, but we know that the subject we're talking about at that time is the fact.
So you know the plot.
Well, slightly the fact that me and Gareth are talking about babies, kind of thing. Okay, we're talking about that today, but again, go through the process. But
right.
What's interesting is you don't know who's going to walk in. You don't know who's going to. You don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea. So suddenly, back in the day, an ex would walk in. And that you don't know is even cast on the show. And suddenly you sit there and you have to go with it, and it is your job to sit there and roll with it. But it's shot in.
You have to deal with it. Yeah.
But it's super unusual the way that we were really lucky. We've been nominated for 3 BAFTAs and won 1. But because it was a new format, people didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Really real, and you could see. I mean, you could see how real it was. And it's now it's our 10th year now, so it's gone on for a long time.
It's extraordinary.
10 years.
Yeah, October 2010,
Wonderful.
I signed my contract.
Oh, that's a long time, isn't it?
It is.
So, yeah, we're now on series 21, which is more than the Kardashians.
Oh,
Darling.
Gosh.
I mean, some people stay
Amazing.
in shows longer than that, but you've actually, yeah, I mean, it's extraordinary. It's fantastic.
And also still reaching kind of, I think, what average 1.4 million
Yeah.
views a week is extraordinary.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
how lucky we are to be involved in a show that's gone on for that long. Like, we thought it would go on for about 6 months and everyone would laugh at us. And
Yeah.
Amazing.
the rest of the country did too.
Yeah, exactly. And do you all remain friends? Have you all remained friends, or is that a difficult question to answer?
Well,
Ish.
it's probably the most
Ish.
asked question I get, and I always respond with, "Do you get on with everyone in your office?" Basically, because
Exactly.
I mean,
Yes.
it's the
Exactly.
We've all been on shows. We've all done our bits and pieces. You don't get along with everyone in the cast, do we?
No.
Some
No.
people
As
avoid.
in life.
So yes, I mean, but also that becomes slightly more difficult if you have to do a scene with them, which I often don't. And there is definitely points in my contract that I don't have to do scenes with several people.
Ah,
I
wow.
wish we could have that in life. That would
Well,
be
yes,
really
Diana,
good.
Oh.
the first
In life.
you'll be the first person. But Ollie, darling, is Gareth there? Is he coming in?
Gareth, I'm not sure he is. I'm not
No.
sure.
No.
No, he sounds like he's
Next time, darling. Next time when you come back to talk about your second book.
I promise.
okay.
Fantastic.
Let's do that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Lovely to see you. I shall send Darren your love right now.
Tell him, Benidorm, I'm ready.
I will. I shall do it right now.
Bye from Beanie.
Hi,
Bye,
George.
Bye,
darling.
darling.
Bye, Beanie.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Oh, he's
Absolutely
lovely,
wonderful.
isn't he? He's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Charming.
What a handsome man too.
He's obviously got a lot on as well, hasn't he? Which is what I
Yes.
like. You know, he's not just sticking to one thing. He's creating a world around him.
He's
Yeah.
really creative, and
Which
apparently
is
the
really
book was
important.
full of magic.
That's so.
And it's
I think
one thing I
you
was
need to read
saying
it.
yesterday, funny enough, to somebody that hopefully, you know, this lockdown, and we all get very upset. I mean, I do, but hopefully it's created this, and maybe it's created something in your head that you thought you couldn't do, and maybe now
Yes.
you can.
The nighttime story thing is really interesting because when I can't sleep at night, which is quite a lot because I'm so anxious and worried,
Yeah.
I've now got an app, one of the sleeping apps, that does nighttime stories, that does stories with amazing people like Idris Elba reading a story. And I just go to sleep. And actually, because it is that thing from childhood of
It
somebody
is.
doing a once
Yes.
upon a time, and it
Making
just
you
relaxes
comfortable.
you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm doing my own nighttime stories to myself like a child.
Your daughter Debbie did a wonderful recording for my granddaughter for Christmas.
Oh,
Of you know, stories that she'd actually made up, and my granddaughter Summer goes to sleep listening to them, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, she does. That's one of her businesses that she started in lockdown.
Can we
With
have
the
some,
bedtime-
please?
Which are
Can I
bedtime
have some?
stories. She does do them for adults as well.
Yes,
But,
please. Thank you.
She just started to
Perfect.
record because she's got the home studio. So Friday, it's Dress
Yes.
Up Friday. Don't
Dress
forget.
Up Friday,
so-
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
pleased we brought that
Sherry's
back.
very good. Sherry's very good because she always dresses up anyway.
I
But
do.
She does.
Get the glitz on, get the eyelashes on, get the earrings on. We're dressing up on Friday because we have the wonderful Michael Simpkins, actor,
Yes.
author. Well, he does everything. So he's coming to see us on Friday. So we have another nice man in the nest, girls.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like him.
We'll see you then.
Matron. Yeah.
Okay,
See you
then.
Friday,
Bye.
girls.
See you Friday.
Bye.